Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. First, a big thank you to Cafe Mutual to having me here, but more importantly, giving health a platform in a space which is currently dominated by wealth. As somebody who has seen both sides of it, health and wealth, I truly feel privileged, blessed that health is finally getting its position. Over the last 6 months, I have now been invited to speak at many events, and it's very gratifying to see health getting a seat at the table. This seat is more important and very, very close to my heart personally, largely because I come from a similar background as most of you, grown up in the world of equities, and hence I have now begun to understand when I was growing up, and my mom and my grandmom used to tell us that health is wealth. I never could figure it out until then I realized that actually health is wealth, mathematically speaking also. Just to encourage all of you to live longer, some numbers. All of you, I'm sure, must have heard of Warren Buffett. Yeah? Warren Buffett made his first $1 billion at the age of 56. It took him 56 years to make $1 billion. Today, Mr. Buffett is 93 and his wealth is about $135 billion. So in 37 years, he's multiplied his wealth 130 times. So great way for all of you to live longer, because it's a guarantee that if you live longer, you will make a lot more wealth. Just to put some numbers into perspective, as when you talk to your clients, you talk about the power of compounding. If you live 10 years longer, whatever is your wealth will become 3 times. If you live 20 years longer, any idea how much would that wealth become? It will grow 10 times. If you are like Mr. Buffett and you end up living 30 years longer, that wealth grows by 300 times. So I guess we all have a lot of incentive. Unfortunately, I lost my ex-boss Rakesh Junjunwala. Bhaiya was 62 years old. At that time, Bhaiya's estimated wealth was about 6 billion. If Bhaiya, like Warren Buffett, would have lived till 92, Bhaiya's wealth would have been $1,800 billion. Just imagine how much good would that have been able to do. So a lot of incentives for all of you to live longer, for which you will need to make a friend, that is health. But it's not just about wealth, right? If you live longer, you will get to spend more time with your daughters. I absolutely love my 2 daughters. And some of the best moments that I have is doing something with my daughters. How do I value that, right? It's priceless from that perspective. Hence, my intent today, when I'm talking to each one of you, is to change your belief around health. Because I have this beautiful saying that all behavior is belief-driven. Believe you can, believe you can't. Either ways you are right. Henry Ford said that. So if I am able to change a little bit of your belief systems around health, I am reasonably confident that your behaviors, once you walk out of this door today, may undergo some change, which may help you either make 3 times more money, 10 times more money, or maybe even 300 times more money. When it comes to wealth, it's very similar when it comes to health, that your mindset matters most. Nothing else matters. If your why is strong, you generally end up figuring out the how. How many of you believe over here that the moment we are born, our death is destined? There is a Yamraj that will come. There is a God. There is a Yamraj. So from the time we are born, I see only one hand up. Anybody else thinks death is destiny? Okay. Let's put some data to figure out, is death really a destiny? 1930, average lifespan in India was 30 years. Today, average lifespan of an Indian is 69 years or 70 years. Almost in the last 100 years, we have doubled the number of years that we have lived on in this country or probably on planet Earth. So if really death was a destiny, then what happened in the 100 years that God suddenly decided, yaar, le, ja, जी ले अपनी जिंदगी, 30 साल और जी ले. I doubt that my grandfather was more cruel than I am, that God took him at the age of 30, but when it comes to Prashant Desai, he wants me to live till 70. As I have understood why we age at a cellular level, one thing keeps coming up and up. Death is not destiny. You can delay death. You can defy death. A lot of that is controllable. And like most things in life, it is very simple. If you want to live longer, the only thing you have to do is to ensure that you don't die early. Simple. Because this is a mutual fund kind of a conference, I also looked at data. I went to insurance guys and started looking at actuarial data to understand why are Indians dying, how are Indians dying. Two very interesting facets came out. Facet number one, if you look at the top 4 causes of death in India. Number 1, anybody? Diabetes is an accelerator, not a reason, but fair. Heart attack, yes. Heart attack and stroke. 1 in 4 Indians die of heart attack, which includes 1 in 4 listening to me over here as well. Heart attack has a very interesting thing. 50% people meet their first cardiac event as death. I lost my father. I was 7 years old to the same thing. In 2014, I lost my brother to the same thing. He was 35. So 1 in 4 of us are going to die because of heart attack and stroke. The second biggest cause of death, cancer. Third, respiratory in India. Fourth, Alzheimer's. The more you double click on each of these data, you will realize the second facet that I learned is that 95% of the deaths that are happening in our country today are preventable. Make no mistake, I am not saying that we will be immortal. No. But they are preventable. So if you look under the hood of what are the accelerants which leads to all of these deaths, you come to 5 parameters. I'm sure when you talk to your clients, you must be giving them a dashboard, right? You look at the absolute returns, look at the relative returns, look at the inflation, look at performance of... So this is a dashboard we generally have when you talk to people. So when it comes to your health, there is this dashboard called metabolic syndrome. If you monitor these 5 parameters, you will know whether that are you racing faster towards the 4 causes or your car is kind of relatively on brake. What are these 5 large parameters which all of you must monitor to get a sense where you are? Number 1, when you do your blood report, you will see a data point there called triglycerides. Monitor your triglycerides. If they are more than 100, your train is running faster. Triglycerides is a fancy form of saying fat, which is traveling through your blood plasma. Second parameter is your waist. If your waist circumference for men is over 38 and for women it is over 34, train is going faster towards these 4 causes. Third is your fasting blood glucose. Take out that report. If your fasting blood glucose is over 100, train is going faster. Next is your blood pressure. If your blood pressure is over 120 over 80, your train is going faster. Be aware of these because 87% Indians have one out of these five. If you have three out of these five, you have something called as metabolic syndrome. Once you have metabolic syndrome, it means by effect you will have, as somebody said, you will have diabetes. You will have obesity. Both diabetes and obesity, what I now call diabesity, diabetes is not a condition, friends. Diabetes is a disease. It is the last stop. Diabetes means your fasting blood glucose is over 120. It means your HbA1c is over 6.4%. If you have these, then you are like that movie Burning Train. Your train is on fire. Brakes have failed. It's only on accelerator. Now it depends which station you will meet first. Heart attack, cancer, respiratory disease. When you double click on each of these, you will realize that a lot of this is under your control. You can slow down this train. As I spent time and time talking to scientists at Harvard, at Stanford, learning from them, it all boils down to your foundation. If your foundation is strong, there's a lot you can achieve. Number one foundation that each one of you needs to start your protocol with is sleep. Unfortunately, sleep gets a massive bad rap in our society. I often hear my friends saying, I'll sleep when I die. How many of you think sleep is useless? Sleep is the most important thing you can do. If nothing you can take back from today's session, if you can only take back what I'm going to now talk about on sleep, and you do nothing but just sleep for 7 to 9 hours every single night, you would have bought back 10 years of your life. By not doing anything else, you will still eat wrong, you will still not exercise, but by just sleeping 7 to 9 hours. But then why does sleep have this bad rap? The reason for that is we've never understood why we sleep. Just think logically, right? Ever since life came on planet Earth, every living thing sleeps. We humans, after 16 hours of wakefulness, Mother Nature puts us to sleep for 8 hours. Ever thought why, if sleep was so useless, why did Mother Nature kind of force us to sleep for 8 hours? Why? Why do kids sleep for 10 to 12 hours? There's something has to be there, right? So we sleep in 2 cycles or 2 phases. The first one is called non-rapid eye movement and second is called rapid eye movement. Sleep, friends, is not a passive state. When you sleep, it's not that you are not doing anything. Sleep is a very active state of mind. When we are awake, our brain waves are like this. When we are asleep, they are like this. It's a very active state of mind. When you get into sleep immediately, you will get into light sleep and then you fall into deep sleep. This is a non-rapid eye movement. When you are in deep sleep, something remarkable is going on in your brain. Every second, our brain is getting 11 million bytes of information. Every second. Just imagine what the brain has to go through in terms of processing. When you are sleeping, brain has to realize of this 11 million bytes, what is important, what is not important. What is not important, it has to put it in the recycle bin. What is important, it has to tag it as important. And store it in a place where you can retrieve. If today I will tell you, close your eyes and remember your best memory. In 1 second, you will be able to remember what your best memory is. For some, this best memory would have happened when you were a child. How did your brain today, after 30, 40, 45 years, been able to recall that? Because brain tagged that as very important and keep it in a folder where you can access it whenever you want. This happens when you are in the first phase of sleep. When you are in deep sleep, your short-term memory becomes long-term memory. Our brain is 2% of our body weight, but consumes 20% calories. In the morning when you sit on your pot, what has come out is 80%. 20% is here. When you are in deep sleep, the brain clears all that toxin. When you are in deep sleep and then people's brain were put under MRIs, they realize the neurons shrink to make space for the cleaning machinery to come and clean up. If you are not sleeping well, that plaque is getting developed, which is why at some point of time you will develop Parkinson's or Alzheimer's or dementia. When you move into the second phase of sleep, which is the REM sleep, REM sleep is where one very interesting thing happens. Our entire immune system gets a rehaul. All our B cells, T cells, they get a complete rehaul. In UK, they did an experiment. They made two sets of kids. One were made to sleep for 8 hours, one were made to sleep for only 6 hours, only for 1 week. The kids who slept for 8 hours and the kids who slept for 6 hours, the kids who slept for 6 hours had 200% more chances of getting a flu. Your ability to deal with illness, which is why when you are ill, Mother Nature puts you to sleep. Your entire immunity system gets a rehaul. Your pancreas get rest. Pancreas is what makes insulin. So if you are undersleeping, you are increasing your chances of diabetes because you are becoming a lot more insulin resistant. If you sleep for even 2 nights, less than 6 or 5 hours, you will consume 500 more calories the next day. And it's not just this 500 extra calories, you will consume the wrong 500 calories. You have a 45% more desire to eat what we call as obesogenic foods, sugary foods, salty foods. When you are underslept, you don't want to eat dal chawal. You want to eat probably a sandwich, you want to eat something crunchy, something sugary. So when you are in your REM part of sleep, this is what happens. Second thing, when you are in REM sleep, you dream. Google, anybody? The idea of Google came to Larry Page when he was sleeping. Theory of relativity came to Einstein when he was sleeping. When you are sleeping, your creativity goes through the roof. Try this experiment next time. When you are not getting an answer to a problem, feed your brain the problem and tell I want a solution. Not the next day, but if you are sleeping and you are looking for a solution, you will get that solution in your sleep. When you dream is Mother Nature's balm for all of you to deal with trauma. Anybody who has had, or you know anybody who has had depressed condition or is suffering from anxiety, the first line of medication is sleep medication. Science has a definition of sleep. 4 things are important when it comes to sleep. First is quantity. 8 hours, 7 to 9 hours. Second is quality, continuous sleep. Third, the most important is consistency. If you think you are sleeping 5 nights, but Saturday, Sunday I will party, or I will make up for the sleep that I didn't sleep Monday to Friday over a Saturday, Sunday, there is only one debt that you cannot repay, that is sleep debt. So sleep, guys. 4 ways to help you sleep better. Deaf. When you are sleeping, ensure there is no noise in the room. Noise disturbs your sleep. 2, cold. Ensure your room is cold. 3, blind. Ensure your room is absolutely pitch dark. Even the faintest of light enters will disturb your sleep. And 4, hungry. Ensure you eat 2 to 3 hours before your sleep. So if nothing else, if you want to live 10 years longer, 20 years longer, 30 years longer, you don't want diabetes, you don't want metabolic syndrome, sleep is your opening batsman. Next comes exercise. How many of you exercise here? Well done, guys. Is the single most important protocol in the world of science that has shown to extend both lifespan, which is quantity of life, and health span, which is quality of life. There was a JAMA study done in 2018. They took 120,000 people, 60% men, 40% women, and followed them for a period of 8.5 years, which is about a million-year study. And they ranked these people in terms of their fitness levels. Absolutely below average, then below average, above average, very fit, and elite. When I say below average is somebody who doesn't exercise, doesn't move, it's absolutely sedentary. The difference between a smoker and a non-smoker, the risk of dying in the next 12 months. A smoker has a 41% chance of dying faster than a non-smoker in the next 12 months. When they did this JAMA study, they saw that somebody who was below average in terms of fitness and somebody who was just about, doing some movement over here, the percentage was identical. So if you are somebody who has never exercised even one day in your life, just 30 minutes of walk will reduce your risk of dying by 50%. That's the power of exercise. You correct your sleep, after that it's a straight line. You correct your nutrition, after that it's a straight line, no major benefits. Exercise is one protocol where you will keep getting benefits after benefits after benefit after benefit. When it comes to exercise, most important is build muscle. Most of you over here I see are almost in the 40-45 ranges. After the age of 30-35, we will start losing muscle mass, 1% every year. We lose muscle strength 3 times faster. And we lose muscle power 8 times faster. That same climbing of stairs at 40 which you can do today, by 60 it will be difficult for you to. So if you don't build muscle, you cannot stop the decline, you can slow down the decline. And the only way to do this is go to the gym. So if people who are ignoring gym because you think you will bulk up, you will not bulk up. After 30, bulking up is next to impossible unless you are taking steroids. But what going to the gym will do is it will ensure that you don't lose muscle mass. Because muscle is an organ of longevity. Second, if nothing else, walk for 45 minutes every day. Walking can be exercise, provided you are walking at a speed at which you are little uncomfortable. You are walking at a speed where you are little out of breath. If you are walking like walking in the park, it's not exercise. Once you get comfortable, start running. So exercise is your second protocol. Third, of course, nutrition. I can go on and on and on and on about nutrition because I think everybody will have a point of view on nutrition. I'll put some basic things. The first question you have to ask yourself when it comes to nutrition is, are you overnourished or are you undernourished? Looking at almost everybody over here, including myself, none of us are undernourished. We are all overnourished. The only thing that you can do to live longer when it comes to nutrition is eat less. In our Vedas, it is written. Do you know what is the definition of intelligent person as per our Vedas? In our historical books of significance, it is written, an intelligent person is one who knows when to stop eating. Your biggest enemy is when you eat more. But how do you achieve that? It's easy to say in today's world where every leg there is a food, a kirana sells chips, cola, sugar. The only way to do this is make protein your friend. If you start your day with 25-30 grams of protein and ensure that across meal you distribute your protein, protein keeps you satiated. And it's a big myth that only animal foods have protein. Veg food also has equal amount of protein. From your pulses to your paneer to your dal to your veggies, there is protein everywhere. If nothing, have a protein shake. But lead with protein. Number 2, I have often been told about this, make ghee your friend. In today's world, we've forgotten ghee. We've grown up eating ghee. Our Pelwan used to eat almost a kg of ghee every week. It would keep their spines erect. But thanks to the campaign in the 80s and 90s, where they started putting heart in vegetable oils, we started ditching ghee for vegetable oils. And look at our condition today. So make ghee your friend. It's the best superfood India has given to the world. Few things also to avoid. Sugar. Sugar is your enemy number one. And before you ask me, good is sugar, honey is sugar, jaggery is sugar, palm is sugar, coconut sugar is sugar. Inside, they are all same. Eat more home-cooked food. You are in good shape. Sugar, no. Refined oils, no. One more thing I will say no to, which is Swiggy, Zomato. Invest in their shares. Remove the app from your phone. And now Blinkit also, Zepto also. Create friction between you and your chips. Create friction between you and your cola. If you feel like having chips, I am not against chips, but go to the shop and buy that packet of chips. Trust me, 9 out of 10 times you will not do it. So guys, I keep telling people, like wealth, it's same in health. It is very simple at its basic. There are 4 things we do. We eat, we sleep, we move, and we stress. Choice is yours, whether you want to sleep more or less. You want to eat more or less. You want to eat more or less, move more or less, or stress more or less. Answer is right in front of you. But as in wealth, same in health, it is simple, but not easy. Before I end, I will just give you one analogy. You have what now, 2,500 mutual fund schemes, which all of you market? How difficult is it for you to recommend to a client which mutual fund scheme to recommend? Where to invest? Thank God for fund managers, right? But when it comes to your health, there is no distributor. There is no fund manager. You are the fund manager. Nobody will come and help you. It's only you who decide. Because at the end of the day, like wealth, health is personal. Only you decide. Thank you guys. Thank you.